Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Karen Smith Frazier podcast. My name is Karen Smith Frazier, and today I've got an interesting podcast for you for podcast number 40. Yes, I said 40. So, episode 40's title is You Are Spot On: Four Keys to Making Progress. Again, my name is Karen Smith Frazier, and I am a life coach and former school nurse. And I help people who are caregivers, like nurses, teachers, community workers, go from feeling stuck or burnt out and fearful of change to fulfilled and motivated to go after their own goals without feeling guilty. Yeah, that part. Well, you have hung in there with me for 40 episodes, and I appreciate you and I'm glad you're here again today. There is something about the number 40 that struck me. And for those who are familiar with the Bible, 40 is in there quite a few times, and it holds great significance in regard to preparation, transformation, and just some kind of renewal or divine intervention, something bigger than us, something bigger than what a human being can do is happening. So when I think about 40, like the number 40 for my today's podcast, I want you to think of it as possibly part of your journey, part of the part that when you started the journey, you may have been excited about it, and you may be somewhat in the weeds right now. It may not be going as fast as you thought it was going to go. You may be coming up with some stumbling blocks, or it's just taking longer than you anticipated. But I want you to be able to take a moment, hopefully, and just believe that there's something happening, something being transformed for you. All right. Well, welcome to those tuning in. Hi, Dawn, in Jacksonville, Florida. Nice to see you. Welcome. All right. So today I am going to be using an acronym called SPOT, SPOT. That stands for suffering or sacrifice, perseverance, obedience and discipline, and trust. Over the weekend, I went to a different church, and the minister used this acronym to kind of give the message. And I thought, I'm gonna use this one too. All right, so I'm going to first talk about suffering or sacrifice. Now, this sounds a little bit deep for Monday morning, so hang in there with me. Have you ever been in a situation where you had in your mind, heart, and even your vision what you wanted for yourself in the future? It could be a long or short-term goal, or micro or macro dream, but just something you could visualize happening in your life if you made some changes. Now hold on to that feeling. Now, once you decided to go for it, did you notice any things that you had to sacrifice to move you toward that goal or dream? Most likely, yes. I know I did. And if you are anything like me, you're dealing with sacrifices all the time. Sacrifices that, that don't fit your new dream, your old routine. That change hurts though. Whether it be these little sufferings that go along with raising children, like I don't have free time anymore, or working the graveyard shift, I can't sleep because, the graveyard shift pays more. And so it pays the bills. But you'll start noticing sacrifices for things that allow you to go for something bigger than what you currently have. This suffering or daily sacrifices, such as limiting social media, turning off the TV and other distractions, maybe listening to a podcast instead of music while you're walking on the treadmill. Some of these take practice and to get used to get used to, and to develop a new routine. So the first letter in SPOT is suffering. The second one is perseverance. Now, once we set out on a journey, you've got to prepare for the emergency situation or just whatever's going to happen. Sometimes you don't know. You can't do the emergencies. You can't prepare for all the emergencies. For example, what if you're taking a trip? This is your dream trip. Now you've prepared, you've saved the money, you set the date, you got the tickets, you got the visa, you got the vaccinations needed to travel to this area. And you get to the airport and the flight is delayed. You're like, okay, the flight's delayed. Okay, we're still going on this trip. Then you get on the plane and there's all this turbulence. And so you have to land in a different airport. How frustrating, right? But you're like, okay, I'm still going on this trip. So then you get back on the plane and you finally get to your destination and you find out that your luggage was lost in that little mishap when they went to the other airport. Now, so at this point, all you have is that little underwear that was in your purse or your bag and the toothbrush. And after all of that, with all this happening, all the frustrations, all the setbacks, are you going to cancel your trip now? Well, no, you're not going to cancel the trip. So why is it that when the vision of our dream life gets interrupted for whatever reason, maybe it's family or friends who don't accept the positive changes you're making in your life, or you may realize that the dream is going to require more effort and maybe even additional help to make things happen. Why is it that in these moments we quit? That we compromise, get distracted, procrastinate, and maybe even throw in the towel and say, well, this was a mistake anyway. This is where perseverance is needed. Perseverance is persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. It's determination, tenacity, resolve. For that dream trip, you did all the right things in preparation and still couldn't avoid delays. In your journey toward your next adventure in life, whether it is in relationship, your vocation, your health, or time and money freedom, expect the delays. Whenever we change the ways we have been doing things most of our lives, resistance will come. Let me read that again. Whenever we change the ways we have been doing things for most of our lives, resistance will come. So this will not be a shocker when it happens. We are wired to desire comfort and change, even if it's a good thing, beneficial. It's still change. And perseverance will be needed to push through the delays, those moments when you feel discouraged or doubt yourself. This is when I lean on my coach and my community who are tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. I see you. Thanks. I see Strong Island, New York is in. Nettie's in the house. Thank you so much for being here. So, yes. So I want you to lean on your community, lean on your people. And if you need a coach, I'm a life coach. If you need someone to walk alongside you as you're traveling this new journey and you're starting to get distracted and you notice you're not keeping promises to yourself, let me know, DM me, and we can set up a meeting. Okay, so we got S, the suffering and sacrifice, P, perseverance, O, obedience or discipline. Now, all week, I have been on a roll with my movement and exercise routines. I switch them up and just try to burn a certain number of calories a day. But if I do too much, I hurt. And if I don't do enough, I hurt. So I got to find that sweet spot. Well, let me tell you, if I let my exercise routine, my prayer life, my podcasting, if I left all that up to my motivation, I don't think I would be on podcast number 40, among other things. Do you remember that time when I was on here and my voice was like 2 octaves lower? Well, you all were here. So I appreciate you, but you cheered me on, and I needed that encouragement from you to be here. So let's lean in on our community. But what I'm saying is that for me, there is this obedience thing shows up in a couple of ways. First, the podcasting came to be because I felt like I was being called by God to share my voice in another way outside of nursing. I was taking my sweet time listening, though, and I was not obedient to that gut feeling that kept telling me to explore something new and that there was more to do, and there was more for me to be. I was supposed to show up in a different way. But it wasn't until a couple of years later in March 2023 that I had a car accident that made me take some time off from nursing to recover. And at that time, I realized that I was not being obedient. Now, the second part is that since becoming an entrepreneur and following my gut, I realized how much discipline I need to stay on track and to actually put into action those things that I want in my life. Every step forward is a step forward. It helps me to think of obedience as keeping promises to myself. I know how it feels to break promises to myself. I feel guilty. I feel less than, like I know I could have done better. And it can be easy to beat myself up. But, with strategies and some guidance, I do better. So I just want to reach my goal in a way that sits right with me and bears fruit that serves others and myself in a positive way. So so that's about it for obedience. All right, I'm seeing some more people come in. Hey, Mitch, I see New York is in the house. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Yes, perseverance and discipline to continue our goals and dreams. We need that. Yes, that is true. Thank you. All right, and last but not least, let's go to trust. So we've got, for SPOT, we have S, suffering and sacrifice, P, perseverance, O, obedience and discipline, and T, trust. Trust. Trust is that something that is bigger than my good intentions and that's guiding what I'm doing. It's bigger than me. For me, God, I try to allow my faith to lead me. And, I also need help with that. I think we always need help in this journey. But I do believe that we were created to create. And I personally trust that God has plans for me to continue to create in different ways and to help people do the same. I trust that my creative juices and talents are not intended to keep bottled up only for me, and they are meant to be shared. And there is this trust that we can put in, whether it be your higher power, for me, that's God, but a trust that, as I said, that you were created to do good. You were created to shine your light, to be a positive presence in the world. Nobody is a mistake or was a mistake. God, the oops is not in God's vocabulary. And so I want you to trust that you being where you are right now, even on this podcast, there is no coincidence. It may not be clear as to why you're here, but there is no coincidence. And so I appreciate you all who are tuning in. But, as I work with a coach, I have come to trust the process of becoming. It's not all about reaching a goal or dream as much as it is about discovering who you become in the process of stretching yourself, stretching ourselves. It's not about the thing, it's about becoming someone as we go for the thing. And I think as we acknowledge the things that we have put our trust in, certain things that come and go, and that how's that been working out for you? And sometimes we need to step back and think about, where do you put your trust? As I said, I don't put my trust in, I don't trust myself enough to go it alone. I have God, I have my faith, I have my coach, I have my community. And when those things are aligned in the positive energy of uh, goodness, then good things happen and wonderful fruit can be born. So, with these quick tips, I think the work that you put into whatever goals you are going for can be spot on. There'll be some little and maybe some big sufferings and sacrifices as you say goodbye to the old ways of being and doing things. But with perseverance and a plan, you make progress. However, don't rely on motivation. No, don't rely on motivation alone. Nope. To keep the momentum going. That comes and goes. But be obedient to whatever or whomever is calling you to this dream or this goal. Be obedient. Try not to break promises with yourself so that you can bear that fruit that the world is waiting for. All right. My faith plays a big role, as I said before, and how I make decisions, and that's up at the top for me. And what are your priorities? Who do you place your trust in? And that will most likely guide your trajectory. Okay. All right. Well, I think that is it. I'm going to I can see comments today. I'm making progress. All right. I'm going to take a peek at Facebook now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see Instagram. Let's see. Experiencing a lot of, sorry. I'm hoping that the replay will be better. There's a lot of buffering, I see. Okay. And Sonia put Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. So I'm hoping that the recording is better. At any rate, I just want to say thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week. I will be putting out an announcement for my next masterclass, which will be in October, and I will keep you posted. In the meantime, as always, unleash your brilliance, uncover your light. The world is waiting for you. Take care.